guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be sharing my all-time favorite reads of 2024 and let's get started with it. I have like 15 books including rereads. I counted rereads. So let's get started. The first book that I'm going to be talking with you is Daisy Jones and the Six. I read this book in the video where booktubers choose which books I read next. Bestie Katie chose this book for me. And let me tell you, I absolutely loved this. The storyline of this, the tension in this, the anguish, the sadness in this book, the part where you think you can finally be happy, but you actually aren't happy. Billy and Daisy. Don't talk to me about them because this did not end the way I hoped it would end. I'm kind of mad, but at the end we got a full circle moment which I loved, and the plot twist at the end was also something that I really loved. I did not guess it, obviously. So this book is about a band, Daisy Jones and the Six. This book is about why the band broke up. So all of the things that they went through, why they started being a band, all of the interrelationships, all of the interdrama and stuff like that. I loved this book. I kind of cried at the ending, but this book had an absolutely amazing book to movie adaptation. It is on Prime Video and Sam Claflin is in it, and yeah, this is one of my 5-star reads of the year. I absolutely loved it. This book is told in like interview type of way. So like Billy said this, then Daisy said this, then Billy said this, and then Eddie said this and stuff like that, and I absolutely loved it. This book gives you an absolutely amazing way of knowing the life of singers. So what they go through, what they have to bear and stuff like that. It just gave me a little insight on the way of their mind works. But this is amazing. I absolutely loved it. Please read it. Please read all of the books I recommend in this video. Then the next book I rated 5 stars was Anxious People by Frederick Bachman. I read this on my Kindle because what am I if I'm not a Kindle girly? But the way that Frederick Bachman writes, it is absolutely amazing. His writing style is very, very, very unique. I've never read writing style like his. So Anxious People is about a bank robbery, which is not actually a bank robbery, which goes wrong. So it is told in multiple POVs, and we get to know the character before we get to know their names. So we can get to know what they are like, what they don't like and stuff like that. Then we get to know their name. So like we can put a name to that person. Then this person likes this and he's that person. I absolutely loved it. He explains simple things at the beginning of every chapter, then he connects it to something so complex and so amazing. Then at the end, it ties the whole chapter in a big red bow, and I absolutely love it. So this book is about idiots, as Frederick Bachman wrote in the book. His writing style is my favorite. I absolutely love it. So there are many different POVs. Anna Lena, Roger, then Landon. And a bank robber. So there are 6 people. They are at a apartment viewing, and suddenly a bank robber runs through the door of the apartment viewing, and he holds everyone hostage there. And the story goes from there, and he explains that he's a bank robber, but he's actually not a bank robber, and the bank robbery turns into a hostage situation, which the bank robber did not want to make it into a hostage situation. Frederick Bachman represents women in an amazing way. It's just, he kind of understands us, and I really like that. He also talks about mental health and all of those things, suicide and things like that. So definitely check out your trigger warnings before you read this book, because I loved it. I was speechless at the end of the book, and the plot twist, I loved it. Then the next duology I rated a 5-star was the Six of Crows duology. I read it. I read this for the first time this year. I know it is a very popular duology, but I don't have my copy of Six of Crows right now, so I will not be showing that. I will just be showing Crooked Kingdom. But let's start with Six of Crows first. So I rated Six of Crows 5 stars, and I also rated Crooked Kingdom 5 stars. So Six of Crows is about 6 characters, obviously 6 of Crows, and they are all different types of thieves, robbers, and Grisha and stuff like that. And they have to take on a huge heist. And if they succeed in completing that heist, they will get a money which they could not even imagine. So much money that they could not even imagine it. And there is Kaz in this, there is Nina in this, there is Matthias in this, there is Jasper in this, there is Violin in this, and there is Inesh too. This duology ruined me. I absolutely loved this duology. And above every chapter there is like let me show you things like this. Matthias, what happened to Matthias? The found family trope in this book is absolutely amazing. The banter between all of the 6 characters, and especially Inez and Kaz. Let me just tell you something. Actually, I won't tell you that. It is a spoiler. But I cried in chapter, which chapter is it? I cried in chapter 38 and chapter 40. Matthias was dreaming again. I'll leave it at that. If you have read the book, you know. If you haven't, this is your recommendation to read it. Please read it. I love it. There is not a day which goes by when I don't think of all of these books. So that shows. So these are 2 of my 5-star reads of the year, Crooked Kingdom and Six of Crows. So the next book is a book which I did not actually rate 5 stars. I rated it 4.75 stars, and it is the second book in another duology, and that book is Two Twisted Crowns by Rachel Kelly. I also read this book. I read the first book in Booktuber's pick, which book I read next, part 2. Bestie Abiha picked that for me, and I absolutely fell in love with that book. So the thing in this book is that the main character Elspeth has a monster in her mind, and they live in a kingdom where to have an illness is like, if you have the illness you have to die, so they kill you. And because Elspeth has a monster in her head, she also has the illness in her, but people don't know that she has the illness. So she's like person who has the illness but in disguise. There are so many different aspects in this book, the romantic aspect, the magic aspect, and all of those things, and I absolutely love it. There is like a card, and if you want to get rid of the illness, if you want to remove the kingdom from the illness, what you do is you have to unite all 12 cards. So in this kingdom there are 12 cards, and there are the horse cards, then there is the mirror card, then there is a well card. All different cards have different abilities, so you have to unite the deck to remove the kingdom of the illness. So Elspeth is trying to do that with Raven, Elm, Ion, and the first book is single POV, then the next book is dual POV. And one thing I loved in this book is that the romance between the 2 characters who are not the main characters, Raven Yu, Elm Rowan. I love both of them. It's just, this book is so amazing. I rated this book 4.75 stars. So this is not exactly a 5-star, but it is a 4.75 stars, which is, if you want to count it that way, you can count it as a 5-star read. I had to mention this book. It was amazing. Then the next is Apprentice to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Meier. This is the second book in the Assistant to the Villain trilogy. The third book is not out yet. I read this book in the Reading My Most Anticipated Release of the Year or something like that. Evie and Tristan. That's all I need to say. Banter, which is like Powerless by Lauren Roberts. Chapters are very short. And a magical comical creature which always makes you laugh. So they live in a kingdom. This is the first book. I reread this, but we'll get to that later. So they live in a kingdom. I don't know the kingdom's name. Yeah, I don't know the kingdom's name, but Evie does not have any job. She's looking for a job. Then she suddenly finds the villain in the forest. Then the villain extends her to be his assistant. Then she takes the job, and then they find out that in the villain's office there is a traitor, and they're trying to find the traitor out. And there is nothing in this book that I did not love. I highlighted this book this year, and I practically highlighted every page. Yeah, banter is that good. And the nickname in this book is Little Tornado. Okay. Yeah, so it was to say, both of these books were 5 stars for me. I read this in this year for the first time. This was a reread. And the dynamic between Evie and her little sister is just what I expect the dynamic of little sisters to be, and I loved it. It is exactly what the dynamic is between me and my smaller brothers. So yeah. Then the next book I rated 5 stars was the 5th book in the Zodiac Academy series. I know, it is very hard to believe. I read the whole series this year. It is called Cursed Fates by Carolyn Peckham and Susan Valentini, I think. I absolutely love that series. It is my favorite series of this year, except for Akotar, I think. But so the plot of this series is that the two main characters, Darcy and Tori, are siblings. They are sisters, and they live in the mortal realms. Suddenly a man comes. That man, you will get to know about that man. But suddenly a man comes to take them to the Solaria world, the Fae world, and they discover that they are not actually humans, they are Fae. And they are the long lost princesses of this Fae world, Solaria. And so they are trying to take their kingdom back from the ruling authority. The heirs are Darius, Max, Caleb, and Seth, and you will get to know the heirs. The found family trope in this book is absolutely supreme. Lance Orion, the man that you are. Yeah, please read the series. The first 3 books in the series were like kind of like okay. And then from the 4th book of the series, I rated every book 5 stars. Every single book. And the books start getting longer and longer as you go on. And I rated every single book 5 stars. Every single plot twist in the series I did not expect. I read, I think, this whole series in 2 weeks. And it has 9 books. Not counting the novellas, and some of the books are over 1,000 pages. So yeah, I read the series in 2 weeks. I absolutely love it. I ate it up. And coincidentally, the cover of the Cursed Fates book is like, it has the Pisces fishes on the cover, and I am a Pisces, and this is the favorite book in the series of mine. So I just love that. I loved the found family. I loved the banter. I love the magic aspect in it. There are dragons, there are werewolves, there are vampires, there are centaurs, there are manticores, there are minotaurs and stuff like that, and I absolutely loved it. Please, 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 please read the series if you like Twilight. And this series is kind of like a trashy reality TV show where you are obsessed with it. You can't just stop reading it. So that was me with this series. Then the next book is one which I rated 4.5 stars. I did not rate it 5 stars, but it was very close. And that book is Today, Tonight, Tomorrow by Rachel Lynn Solomon. I also read this book in Booktuber's Pick Which Books I Read Next, Part 2. Bestie Addie picked it for me and I absolutely loved it. It is an academic rivals to lovers. So the main character, Rowan and Neil, are academic rivals to the core. They fight over everything, being valedictorian, getting the highest marks and stuff like that. So when Rowan does not get the salutatorian thing in her high school, when she's graduating high school senior year, and she's very sad, but then so like every time someone graduates senior year, they play a game called Howl, which is like assassin, but you get blue armbands and you have someone's name and you have to take them out and stuff like that. So Rowan and Neil partner up, and this book takes span over one day. So the chapter headings are like 3:55 p.m. and 4:50 a.m. and stuff like that, and I love it. The main character wants to become a romance book writer, but she just does not think her parents will allow her to do that, and it goes from there, and I absolutely loved it. The banter in this book, I ate it up. This book is like 400 pages and I read this in 4 to 5 hours, and I'm a kind of like a slow reader. So you definitely need to read this book if you like The Summer of Broken Rules by K.L. Walter. That is my top recommendation if you loved this book, or if you loved The Summer of Broken Rules, you need to read this book. Then the next book is one which I rated 5 stars. I don't have the physical copy of it, but I want it. I'll probably get it for my birthday. I don't know. That book is Heartless Hunter by Kristen Ciccarelli. I don't know. So this book is between a witch and a witch hunter. It is dual point of view. So you get the main male character's point of view, and you also get the main female character's point of view. So Rune, the main female character, is a witch, and the world where they are living, witches are not allowed to live there because they are supposed to be evil. So, and the main male character, who is Gideon, is the witch hunter, and you know where it goes from. I kind of did guess some of the plot twists in this book, but I cried at the ending. Yeah, let it just be that. So yeah, Rune and Gideon, the tension in this book, the cover is beautiful too. The tension, the banter, the angst, and this book does not have spice till what I remember. The next book is coming out in February and I'm definitely going to read it. So I'm very, very, very excited for the next book. And Heartless Hunter ended on such a cliffhanger. I could not guess the cliffhanger. Then the next 2 books are some of my favorite books of all time. I read this series this year for the first time, and this series is the most popular fantasy romance series of all time, and that is the Catastrophe Series by SJM, Sarah J. Maas. Rhysand, Cassian, and Azriel. Yeah. Yep. Rhysand, Cassian, and Azriel. Let me show you which chapter I absolutely loved. Chapter 54. It broke my heart and it stitched it back together. So the main female character is Feyre, and she gets such a glow up in this series. Anyway, Feyre is the main female character. She is a mortal, and she kills a wolf because they are very poor. Her family does not have money and stuff like that. So she goes hunting and she kills a wolf. Then they eat that wolf and stuff like that. But then she realizes that the wolf was actually a fairy or a fae. So friends of the wolf or the fairy come to take Feyre to the Fey world because she has to pay the price of killing the wolf. And there we meet Tamlin, there we meet Rhysand, there we meet Azriel, there we meet Cassian, there we meet the Night Court. But I just absolutely love the series. I know people either prefer this book over this one, but I feel like I prefer both of them because both of them are so good in my eyes. So I feel like you would prefer this book if you love fantasy romance with a subplot of romance, and you like this book if you love fantasy which is very high stakes, which has wars and stuff like that which break your heart. And page 666 in this, I cried. So I love this book because it has a lot of romantic things, and I love this book because it was very high stakes. If you have ever read a Sarah J Maas book, you know that till this much percent of the book, if you think things are tame, you are so wrong, because in the last 100 pages you will get your heart broken. I guarantee you. If that does not happen, then I just don't trust you, because the last 100 pages of every Sarah J Maas book, plot twist after plot twist, plot twist after plot twist, plot twist after plot twist. I can tell you with a guarantee that I read this book when it was like 12 a.m. and I finished the book. Then I immediately started this book and I read till this much, then I went to sleep. So needless to say, I loved these books, and I get the hype why they are the most popular romantasy series of all time. So please read it. I think I was living under a rock because I had not read these series, but this is your sign to read them. Please read them. Then I forgot to tell you this book, but this is not actually a reread. It is a book I read for the first time this year, and it is Funny Story by Emily Henry. So the main character Miles and Daphne are Daphne just broke up with her fiance because her fiance cheated on her with Miles' girlfriend. So Miles' girlfriend cheated on Miles with Daphne's fiance. Daphne's fiance cheated on her with Miles' girlfriend, and now they're both broken up with because they cheated. The girlfriend and the fiance cheated on them, Miles and Daphne. So they live together now because they don't have any place to live. And Miles and Daphne, when you first meet Miles, he does not seem like a prospect for the romance book. So like he does not seem like the main prospect who the main female character ends up with. And I love that because he is very depressed. He's like listening to sad music when the main female character meets him. Emily Henry's writing is my favorite. I absolutely love it. This book I also rated 5 stars, as you can tell. Now we are going to get into the rereads, all of the books that I reread this year and which I rated 5 stars. So first we will start with, this is not my annotated copy. I have a copy which is like absolutely annotated. I annotated all of the 3 books and it is filled with tabs and stuff like that. But Clockwork Angel by Cassandra Clare. Will Herondale, the man that you are. So Tessa Gray arrives in London or England during the reign of Queen Victoria. Something terrifying is waiting for her in London's downworld, where vampires, warlocks, and other supernatural folk stalk the gaslit streets. Friendless and hunted, Tessa seeks refuge with the Shadow Hunters, a band of demon hunters. So Tessa goes to London because she wants to be with her brother, stay with her brother, not in that way. And she's taken by a pair of warlocks, the Grey Sisters, and she realizes that she is not actually human and she's actually a warlock who can take other people's images, and they can who can view their past thoughts and stuff like that. And then Tessa is rescued by a man, and that man is William Herondale. There is kind of like a love triangle in this book, but I feel like people either prefer one man over the other, and yeah, and both of them are amazing. This book, this book, oh my god, I love this trilogy. It is my favorite trilogy of all time. People say you have to read the Mortal Instruments before you read the series. If you want to avoid spoilers, then you definitely need to read the Mortal Instruments, then read this. But if you don't care about spoilers, please read it. So, and if you want to avoid spoilers and you want to read this without finishing the whole Mortal Instruments series, what you do is you read the first 3 books of the Mortal Instruments series, then you read this, then you read this trilogy, then you read the last 3 books of the Mortal Instruments series, and that way you won't get spoilers and it will be an amazing experience too. 5 stars. I reread it this year. Then the other series that I reread this year was the Harry Potter series. I have kind of like a tradition where I reread the Harry Potter series every fall, and I love it. I absolutely love it. I read this book in like 3rd standard, and you can see, you cannot even make out the name of the book because I have tape here because it kind of got folded, but I absolutely love this book. If you don't know about this world, where are you living? Are you living on Earth? Because I'm not sure you are if you don't know about this. But anyway, the main male character is Harry Potter, and he lives with his uncle and aunt, and they have convinced him that he's a normal child, but he's actually not. One day Hagrid, the man here, comes to take him from his aunt and uncle's home, and he discovers that he's actually a wizard, and the story goes from there. One thing I love about this is Hermione. I absolutely relate to Hermione on an ungodly level. And the scene where she says, "Oh, don't you two read?" Where is that scene? I don't know. I absolutely love that scene. And one another thing is that I want to go to study at Hogwarts. I don't want to go to study here. I want to go to study at Hogwarts. Because the found family trope in this book is one of my favorites too. It is written for middle schoolers, but it is not actually, because the topics that they talk about are actually a lot more than middle school things. So you have to solve a mystery about who or Voldemort, and I just love it. Ronald Weasley, Hermione Granger, and Harry Potter. Yeah. One thing I love about Hogwarts are the houses. Gryffindor, Ravenclaw, Slytherin, and Hufflepuff. Personally, I am in Ravenclaw. I'm currently reading the 5th book. By the time we have finished watching this video, I will have finished the series, I think. But I'm not sure. The 5th book is kind of like hard for me to get through because it is just kind of like a filler book, and it is 800 pages plus, or 900 or 1000, I don't know. But it is very long. But I just love the series as a whole. The series is a 5-star series for me. Then the next reread is Happy Place by Emily Henry. I reread this book because I relate to Harriet and Vin. So they were dating, then they broke up. We don't know why they broke up, but we get to that at the end of the book. This book is in the present and past timeline, and so they try to fake date because they are all together. Their friend group is all together to celebrate the marriage of their friends, and the friend group is together. So Vin and Harriet are pretending to fake date, and we get to know all of the past. Oh, sorry, I shook the camera. But we get to know all of the past of their story, and their connection is absolutely ungodly. The chemistry And a quote which lives in my head rent free. I won't say that quote because it will spoil the book for you, but I absolutely love Emily Henry's writing. She is the queen of banter in romance books, and if you have never read any Emily Henry book, you definitely need to read it. I love every Emily Henry book, and her new book, which is based on The Last Great American Dynasty by Taylor Swift, is coming out in April or something like that. I'm so excited for that. And the book's name is Great Big Beautiful Life or something like that, but I'm very excited. There will not be a day where I don't rate Emily Henry books 5 stars. So, yeah. So, that is all for today's video. I recommend all of these books. These are some of my favorite books of 2024. And I will meet you in my next video. Bye. I love you all. Like, share, subscribe. You know all of that YouTube stuff to do. Comment the pause emoji, the dog pause emoji, to let me know that you watched till the end of the video. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye. I love you all.